Hey, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be going over integrating GPT-Vision with AutoGen. We will first create a simple conversation that asks an AI agent about an image, and then we'll go over two more examples that ask an agent about a couple images, except this time we're going to be using a new method with AutoGen, so you're going to learn something new today. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so like I normally do, we'll go over the configuration really quick. We're going to create an OpenAI config_list JSON file. We're just going to have one model in here, and this is the GPT-4 Vision Preview, and you're going to give your API key here as well. I just have a dummy one, but when I go to run this, I'll insert my regular API key. All right, so now for the Python file. The first thing, and we only need to install one thing, and you're just going to type in pip install AutoGen. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead, go to your terminal. You're going to run this, and then we're ready to go. Okay, now that AutoGen is installed, we're going to import it, and we're going to import this multimodal conversible agent. And the first thing, okay, so now that you have it installed, we have 5 images here. So whenever you go to take this from GitHub, you'll have these here. And these are just from Pixabay, so these are free. So I have one that's a Golden Doodle, a Corgi, one that has Luigi, Yoshi, and Mario in it, one that has Super Nintendo, and one that is an image of a mitochondria. And you'll see these when I go through the example. But the next thing we need is we need a config list. All right, I just named it config list _4 for vision. So you're going to call AutoGen config list from JSON. We want to call in the actual file, the .json file, and then just filter it in case you had more than one model. This is something you should get used to. If you have more than one model, just filter it based on the exact one that you need. Okay, so we want to use Vision Preview. And then we need a multimodal, and then we need to create a first AI agent. And so this one is the type of multimodal conversible agent. And all we need here is a name. So we give it the name image explainer, and then we have to have the LLM config. And the first parameter is we have to give it the config list. So we give them the Vision Preview config list. Set the temperature to 0.5 just to kind of mess around with how it describes the images, see what's better. And then another parameter that I don't know if I've used before or maybe you haven't seen is you can give the max number of tokens that you want in a response. And we're not going to really hit this for what I'm doing, but this is just something you could use. Okay, and then lastly, for any AI agency, we have to have a user proxy agent. So to initiate the chat. So I just created one, call it user proxy, just a human admin. I set the human input mode to never because I don't care about responding to the way it's describing images. And then we can set this max consecutive auto reply because we don't care about replying. So we just set to 0. And then finally, we go to initiate the chat. And this might be a little different here, but so again, the user, so me or you, we have to initiate the chat with the image agent that we created up here. And now here with in the message, all right, you see this little F here. So you have the triple quotes, which allows you to have multiple sentences, or you can have a paragraph within the triple quotes. And then this F here for like string formatting allows us to put a variable within these quotes. And why we need to do that is I'm going to ask, what is this a picture of? And then I need to give it, this is like an image tag. So you have the left caret, img for image, and then you need to give it the URL for that image. So when we go to reference image, the mitochondria, back up at the top, it'll go to Pixabay and go and retrieve that image. What I'm asking the agent to do is say, what is this a picture of? And then can you describe the components of this image into a bulleted list? So before you get to see the image, I'm going to have it respond, and then we'll look at the image so you can see how well, or maybe not how well it described it. I don't know why it's like this, but if I were to not go inside the directory and then call the Python function to run, it doesn't work for some reason. So just go into the AutoGen GPT-Vision directory and then call Python and then the name of the Python file, which is autogenvision.python. And so as you can see here, it says, what is this a picture of? And even though it has the image like tag here, it will actually put the image in there, right? And then it says, can you describe the components of this image into a bulleted list? So it says this image appears to be a stylized rendering of a mitochondrion. And then it goes into describing the image itself. So the shape, somewhat bean-like shape, which a mitochondrion is, has some colors here. So let's see, the glowing pink and purple outline define the shape of the mitochondrion. A blue interior represents the inner space or matrix. You know, whatever. I don't really know what all it is about mitochondrion. Let's see, speckles. There are small yellow and red speckles. So let's open up the image here. So as you can see here, this is the image on Pixabay of a mitochondrion, and there are the speckles here. I think it said red, kind of more like purple, not red, but either way, it was able to describe in some detail the image that I provided. Okay, so that was a simple example. Now let's move on, and I'm going to show you these images first. I'm going to give you an image of a golden doodle, and then I'm going to give it an image of a corgi, and I wanted to look at both of these, compare them, and then tell me which of these dogs, hopefully it knows that they're dogs, and then which one generally has the louder bark. It's a general question. I know that can't actually probably really be answered because it depends on the actual personality of the dog. However, we're going to ask it and see what it gives us. All right, for the next example, we're going to set it up pretty similar with something new. So again, we have to have the user agent initiate the chat with the image agent. Okay, that's not going to change. And the message is going to say, what is this picture of, and describe everything in it. And again, we're going to give it the image tag, and it's going to be the image of the golden doodle that you saw. Then we're going to say user proxy.send. Okay, this is kind of a new method that I haven't showed you, but what you can do is you initiate the chat with a message, and then after it kind of responds or answers that question, then it's going to go here and say, well, what dog is this a picture of? And then we give it the image of the corgi. Then the question is, which of these dogs tend to bark more, this one or the previous dog image? Okay, so after it initiates the chat, looks at this question, responds, then it's going to move on to the next one. So let's just see it in action. Okay, so I initiated the chat. It's still ongoing for the next question, but the first one was about the golden doodle, and then it explained here this features an adorable puppy with curly light brown fur, and that whole paragraph of messaging. And then we moved on and said, what dog is this a picture of? And this is the one of the corgi. And then we asked another question about the bark. Okay, so as you can see, it first, with the initiated chat message, it answered that first, and then we basically appended another message to that, and whenever it was finished with the first one, it moved on to the next one, and now it's answering that. And it said the dog in this image is a Pembroke Welsh Corgi. Okay, I guess. I'm just going to assume that's correct. I have no idea. When it comes to barking tendencies, the behavior of the dog is blah blah whatever. So it answers this, but it says generally corgis are known for being vocal and can be prone to barking. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but I just want to show you how you can append messages. We can give it several images. Well, we only gave it 2 here, but you can give it more. We can just say user proxy.send and give another message with a different tag. Okay. All right, so for the third and final example, I'm going to ask Vision to describe this picture, and it will be one of Luigi, Yoshi, and Mario. And then again, I'm going to send another message asking what game is displayed here. So whenever we see the response, then I'll show you the images. This is a game for Super Nintendo. I want it to tell me what's the game in the image that's inserted into the actual console. And then out of all the characters, which one sold the most game? Just some general questions. They might not make any sense. But one thing I forgot to mention was there's actually a second parameter when you say the user proxy.send function. And it's got to be the recipient. So who are we sending this to? And we're just sending it to the image agent. Okay, so just in case you're wondering, I didn't say it in the last example. So just that's what that means. So let's just run this and see what it tells us. So what is this picture of, and describe everything in it. This is the one of Luigi, Yoshi, and Mario. So hopefully it tells us and describes us those characters. So it does. The picture has 3 figurines from Nintendo, Luigi, Yoshi, and Mario. Okay, so it's just saying what Luigi's wearing with the big L on it, a blue jumpsuit with yellow buttons, green shirt, white gloves, brown shoes. So it goes kind of in depth. It's doing pretty well. Same thing for Yoshi and Mario. Okay. It even talks about the background. And as you'll see, they are actually toy figurines. And then what game is displayed here, and then I ask it questions, kind of like the most amount of games. So the image displays a Super Nintendo, which I know that I said that, and it reads Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest. Okay, and it even says it was developed by Rare, which it was, and published by Nintendo. Okay, and that is true. When I go, I'll show you it, and that is the actual game that's inserted into the SNES console. And then it just comes here and gives us a list of stuff about Mario games, how many units it sold, Donkey Kong games, Yoshi, and blah, blah, blah. So it just compares everything like I asked it to, and it actually does. So let's go and look at the images so you can verify. This is the first one, the one of Luigi, Mario, and Yoshi. But as you can see, these are toy figurines, which is exactly what it said they were, and it is a blurred background. And then here, this is the other image. Again, all these are on Pixabay, but this is the SNES Control, and I know it might be hard to see, but it does say Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest. So it did a really good job of describing the images. Okay, so I made through the examples. I hope this helped you how we can integrate Vision with AutoGen. Something that I'm going to explore and want you guys to think about is, what if we could screen capture, like say you went to Amazon.com, you search for sofas or a couch or whatever, you could screen capture that. Then you could also do the same thing for like say Walmart, and then another website like Home Goods, right? And all of them are searching for the same thing. Let's just say you're searching for sofas. Okay, what if you could screen capture them, put them into the agents, and then they could describe and parse the data and give you the prices. I mean, what if it's some form of web scraping that we could do with this? I think, there's ideas that I definitely want to explore. I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments, and I would love to hear from you. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.